If we don't use the word crisis, what would happen?
And is Ghana in difficult times?
Of course, we're in difficult times.
Which is synonymous to crisis?
No, in crisis in the sense that those countries that you would describe as being in crisis are typically countries that, for instance, cannot service their debts. They are defaulted. Argentina has just defaulted. We have not defaulted. Despite all the challenges, we are paying our debts. We are paying payroll, salaries. There are countries that are not technically not in crisis, but have payroll arrears running to months, sometimes years. We are not there. So yes, we have problems, but we are not in crisis in the sense that we have not defaulted. Growth rate is not negative, it remains positive. So I don't know this fixation that we must use the word crisis, and then what? What satisfaction do we seek to derive from that? We use the word crisis instead of challenges. Then what happens? Then if the city will stabilize tomorrow, inflation will decline to single digit tomorrow because we use the word crisis, that would. Unfortunately, as a practical matter, it will mean nothing.
The decision for an IMF bailout was reached after several measures enforced by government failed to adequately tackle the external factors. Some of the measures include that of Century's report, Bank of Ghana's forex measures, GRA's tax widening, and a supplementary budget of over 3 billion Ghana cedis requested by the Ministry of Finance and subsequently approved by Parliament in July 2014.
The point is, you said this time around we are using it for the short-term period. This time around, how long are we looking at in the short-term period?
Well, in the short term, in the sense that in the short term, we need to deal with some of the key variables. The exchange rate, for instance, needs to be stabilized. For Ghana, given the structure of our economy, the exchange rate is the end-all and be-all of our economic challenges. That is the short term. We're looking at anywhere between 1 and 2 years. That is not the same as saying that this is how long an IMF program would last. That we don't know because we now have to go into negotiations with them. And for the most part, there's agreement between us and the IMF as to what needs to be done. We're in the process of putting together a team to go and negotiate with the IMF. Once the team is in place and we negotiate with them, we'll then have an idea of the key specifics. But for now, we do know the areas that we're interested in will help with the external sector.
Ghana's strategy focuses on raising government's revenue, improving public financial management, and alleviating the energy crisis. The cedi has so far depreciated by more than 30% since the beginning of the year. Challenges in the forex market have intensified, with a gap opening between the rate at which central bank supplies dollars to the market and the interbank rate.
You are very optimistic. When should we expect things to stabilize now that we are going into negotiation with the IMF?
It shouldn't go beyond the third quarter, latest the fourth quarter of the year. And by stabilization, I'm talking about the key indicators such as the exchange rate stabilization and government finances and so forth and so on. The third quarter going into the fourth quarter, we should see relatively good things happening on those fronts. By the beginning of the first, going into the second quarter of 2015, we should see a decided reversal of some of these things, such as a deceleration in inflation and so forth and so on. I'm that hopeful. Some of the Century recommendations, in fact, will find their way in the medium-term development policy framework. Some of them will find their way into the President's Coordinated Program for Social and Economic Policies of Ghana. So we're moving on multiple fronts. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, as they say.
After formal request to the IMF on August 8 by Government of Ghana, a team from the IMF is expected to be in Ghana in September to begin talks on helping salvage the ailing economy. Abu Abdul Karim, ETV News.